GOAT is a new Sony animated feature film and tells a story about a goat who wants to be the best at Rollerball, and he joined this new crew of misfits to try and accomplish his dreams. Now, I am a fan of more recent Sony animated feature films. Mitchell vs. the Machines, genuinely great. K-pop Demon Hunters, genuinely great. The Spider-Verse films, fucking goated, man. Like, those films I fuck with. Okay, calm down, Jason. I cannot talk about this film without being so amazed as to how good they are. Not just in terms of animation, but their stories and storyline, the intensity it's getting. Like, I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. But tangent aside, I've been loving Sony animated features films projects as of recently, and when I heard that they were going to make this new GOAT movie, I was like, okay, this is interesting. Then I saw the trailer and I saw the animation, and I was like, okay, good animation, predictable story, okay. And then I saw the film. It was enjoyable. Yeah, I think this is probably one of Sony's weakest films they have made in a while. A studio that has been making banger after banger after banger. It was bound to happen that at some point they were going to make a film that maybe not be up to the same level as the previous works. But I wouldn't call this movie awful. This is in no way a terrible movie. The animation is absolutely stunning. It is using the same kind of style and techniques that K-pop Demon Hunters and the Spider-Verse films use. And in some ways, I think this is some of the best looking animation that Sony Animated Pictures has ever done. Like, genuinely some of the shots here, especially in the basketball court or whenever the characters are doing promo for their worldwide basketball league, it's just all around so cool to watch. The animation literally is beautiful. The colors pop at you. The environments are vibrant. The world that this film takes place in is genuinely cool to watch. And I love how everything feels like a jungle, yet it still has that home feel, like you're in a city or you are in a rural town, but it still feels like you are at the same time in the wild. So the production design, the character designs as well, genuinely all great around. I love the way all these characters are designed and how the antagonist genuinely feels like a big foreboding antagonist that our heroes have to go up against. And overall, I think the presentation of the film is genuinely well done. It's the story that I kind of have an issue with. And it's not because it's a bad story or that's like a cliched one or one that we've seen before. There are plenty of films out there that genuinely had stories that I've seen before, but I still enjoyed. But it's how safe the film plays out that genuinely made me kind of disappointed. I felt like I was able to predict everything that's going to happen, and nothing really surprised me. None of the character arcs were surprising or interesting to watch. I knew where the film was going the moment it began. It took many cliches and just play them straight and don't do anything new or interesting with them. Nothing in terms of the story and the characters generally felt interesting. Our main character just feels like a self-insert at times, and while Caleb was good in the film, his character, I just feel like he could have had a bit more meat to the bones, as well as the antagonist of the film, main attraction. That's the only character that I kind of remember the name for because of that rap song, honestly, that he did. It was a diss track, which was genuinely a really fun sequence in the film. He was fun at times, but then again, he's not the most interesting antagonist, as not much is done new with him. I felt like it was interesting to explore. The relationship between our main character and this Panther lady that is the head team player of this rollerball group, they have a bit of a Poe and Shifu relationship, but it just feels like a bootleg version of it, if I'm making any sense here. It just feels like it's going through the basics of what Poe and Shifu went through in the Kung Fu Panda films, but doesn't have the character investment that you had with those characters, nor the depth that those characters have, the regret that they have. And while they do try to do something near the end of the second act of the film with these characters, at the end of the day, it felt like it was quickly brushed off, and not much of consequence came from that. That genuinely felt like it lasted throughout the rest of the film, or that changed the characters in a very deep way. It just felt easy to digest, and the pacing of the film is way too fast. I felt like none of the scenes had proper time to breathe, even when characters are just talking. It just felt like the pacing is just ramp, and keep going, keep moving forward, play a big song, or have jokes everywhere. It felt like ADHD. And while stylistically at times I think that can work in the film's favor in the basketball scenes, when it comes to just quiet moments, I feel like we didn't really get any of that. And any emotional moments that we could have had felt like it was brushed off way too quick. Overall, GOAT was fine. It was a fine film, fine kids film that had pretty animation. The themes and story aren't bad. It just did not feel refreshing or new, and felt way too predictable. Overall, I gotta say I was vastly disappointed with this film. However, good animation and good roarball and basketball sequences can keep your kids entertained, and at least there is a good story that they could take away from. But there are plenty of other films I could highly recommend more than The GOAT. I'm going to give GOAT a C. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.